Coming up here on Celtics Today by Chat Sports, there is one more game, possibly for the Boston Celtics in this NBA Finals Series. We're going to be previewing our keys to victory, our predictions for the Game 4 matchup between the Boston Celtics and the Dallas Mavericks in the American Airlines Center. It's going to be a good game, considering the Boston Celtics possibly have about 48 minutes to see if they can be NBA Finals champions. Before that happens, you guys, give me your crystal ball predictions. The score of Game 4 of the NBA Finals. This could possibly be the score you talk about for the next decade or so if the Boston Celtics do end up winning the NBA Finals, because believe me, you're going to be somewhere in a Boston bar saying, I remember where I was when the Boston Celtics won 108-100 over the Dallas Mavericks to win Banner 18. That's why your score is so important. Predict the score down below. I'm going to allow my producer, Tyler Smith, to jump in here as well, breaking down the keys to victory. We got 5 here. Stay with us here. We're going to go through a lot of these, but it's crucial. It's crucial. We got to have these 5 keys to victory to win Banner 18. Smitty, go ahead and start us off here with number 1.
Yeah, keep making Luka's life difficult. We saw in Game 3 that, he was visibly frustrated throughout the game with just the fact that the Celtics put him in so many actions defensively. He was picking up cheap fouls. Were the officials not necessarily, were they giving him the room to be physical? Not really. For a superstar in Game 3 at home of the NBA Finals, they had a pretty tight whistle throughout the game on Luka Doncic, but he didn't do himself any favors in that regard, right? He's got his hand in the cookie jar early on in this game, picking up cheap ones, and then, you fast forward to the fourth quarter, and a block charge call goes either way. They're going to give it to Luka, who's been, kind of susceptible to fouling all night long. Got to keep putting him in actions. You got to keep putting help defenders out there when he's on the offensive end. Overall, you just got to make his life difficult and make it as difficult as possible for him to will this Dallas Mavericks team to victory, because we haven't seen their role players step up yet. It's been Luka, it's been Kyrie in Game 3. And you just have to keep making things hard on Luka Doncic. It's
pretty obvious that Luka is exerting all of his energy on offense.
Yeah.
There is very little energy that I'm seeing on the defensive side, and maybe that's a tactic for Luka so he doesn't wear himself out, but I think it's a pretty
It's not a good
tactic
one when anybody on Boston can take him off the dribble.
That's what I'm saying. It's pretty crappy if he does decide to do that, but you saw his Game 3 defense was a little bit better than his Game 2, but still, he was not making the smartest decisions as the superstar in this team, because Luka and Kyrie were the only 2 players that were scoring for the Dallas Mavericks through 3 quarters.
Yep.
I'm telling you, the Dallas Mavericks role players didn't even have more than 4 shots taken. It was kind of unreal that these 2 players are trying to take it all by themselves. Then they started incorporating P.J. Washington there in the fourth quarter, but they were making Luka's life very difficult, and we've said that before. Luka's not the best in the fourth quarter when it comes to this NBA Finals series, so I think if you just keep throwing those people at him, those different defenders, it's going to just completely take the air out of him on offense as well.
Yeah, he hasn't seemed to respond well to the physicality and to the targeting that the Celtics are putting on him on defense. So just honestly, a lot of these keys to victories, like I kind of had in my Game 3 preview, are just more of the same for Boston, because their game plan seems to just work. Joe Mazzulla has put them in a position to succeed, and it's worked through 3 games so far. Why change things up now? Number 2 on the keys to victory for Game 4, drive, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. It is paramount that they continue to get into the paint, kick out to shooters. The Celtics got off 47 three-point attempts in Game 3, and I think that was a byproduct of just the fact that they were able to dribble penetration into down low, draw help defenders from Dallas, and kick out to open shooters. We saw a new level of Jaylen Brown's playmaking really in Game 3. He had 8 dimes out there. And over the season, this has kind of been an element that he's added to his game a little bit more that we haven't seen in prior seasons for Jaylen Brown, is be that primary ball handler, be able to run the screen and roll and get into the paint and then kick out to open shooters. That's kind of been something that Jason Tatum has progressed on a little bit quicker than Jaylen Brown has in his career, but they're both doing it now, and that's making the Celtics just the more deadly, being able to drive and kick with those 2 bodies. You either get a layup or you get a 3. That's Celtics Mazzulla ball mantra.
Yeah, you got to give credit to Jason Tatum for really pulling the Boston Celtics out of the hole in the first quarter. His 3 ball was falling. He nailed 2 threes in that first quarter, which brought them back. and I wasn't even a fan of those 2 threes they did end up taking because I thought that Tatum's game was a little bit more efficient when the second quarter came around through the rest of the game, when he starts to drive, because Tatum has that ability to draw those defenders down. But I also like what I saw from Tatum's play with that drive in Game 3 was that he was actually finishing at the rack more than he was in Game 2, because I'm all for racking up those assists, man. I like getting those double-doubles for him as well, even those triple-doubles, but I do think that Tatum also has the ability to be such an effective rim finisher that I do think that when you do drive, don't be afraid to not kick out. I'll always be open for an open three. You know, Derek White has really excelled his catch-and-shoot three game, but I also do like the aggressive Brown and Tatum that you can get, and even Holiday, who has just mastered the up and in reverse layup off that backboard this series as well. So I want the Celtics not only drive, but not be afraid to finish at the basket once you get down there as well. We're going to get into the next 3 out of 5 keys to victory here. But first things first, I do want to tell you guys about this great deal that you guys can go find here on Fanatics right now. They are a sponsor on Celtics Today by Chat Sports. If you guys are looking for an NBA Finals t-shirt, well, this is the place to get it. If you guys want to use that code right here, chatsports.com/NBA Finals, that code that link will also be posted on this video underneath in the comment section. Easy way to get to this website, but I think this NBA Finals shirt is just dope. It's timeless, it's classy, you can wear it, women, men, doesn't matter. They got youth as well, and I said this before, but I think these are the epitome of just vintage t-shirts that are in the making. When you're looking for an NBA Finals game, you know, I remember Father's Day a couple years ago, I was looking for something. He played football at Virginia Tech, and I'm thinking, I want to see if I can find a Virginia Tech t-shirt with the matchup in the Peach Bowl. And so when you look for t-shirts like that, that's why I think it's so important to get these when they do come out, because we don't know the next time the Boston Celtics will be in the NBA Finals. You want that merch. You want that memorabilia. I still have my very first NFL game that I went to. I have that conference game t-shirt right now in my closet. So chatsports.com/NBA Finals. That's going to get you this piece of memorabilia that's going to keep with you for the next couple of years of your life. Let's go ahead and jump into number 3 keys to victory here. Continue to switch and guard tough. We know that Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic are the only 2 players you really have to throw your best defenders at. Jrue Holiday has done a phenomenal job of continuing to switch. There were several moments, Smitty, where I actually saw the Mavericks who were trying to do one of their best assets here, and that's set the screen to allow Luka to pop around, score from the 3, Kyrie Irving pop around, score from the 3. Jrue Holiday would avoid that screen. He doesn't want that switch. He wants his man on Kyrie Irving, but he also isn't selfish, and he would take that screen all the way back to the basket, allow Jason Tatum to come on Luka Doncic, something like that. But it doesn't matter who you're guarding, you have to guard tough, Smith.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a completely complicated defensive strategy for Boston, right? They're switching everything on screens because they have good enough on-ball defenders to guard 1 through 5. Jason Tatum, when he gets switched onto a big man, I'm not worried. When Al Horford gets switched onto a Luka Doncic, yeah, you know, it's probably not the most advantageous defensive matchup for Boston.
But even Hauser and Pritchard.
But it's worked. Yeah, I'm gonna mention Hauser and Pritchard as well. These guys get switched on to Kyrie Irving, and obviously Pritchard might start on Kyrie Irving, but gets switched on to Luka, and he's playing tough defense. Yeah. Hauser's playing tough defense. Brad Stevens has crafted this roster with guys who are able to shoot and guys who are able to guard. That's why the Celtics have not had to fall into the Timberwolves trap or prior opponents of Dallas's trap of having to throw blitzes at Luka Doncic or having to double team Kyrie Irving or a primary ball handler for Dallas. It just doesn't work when you're playing the Boston Celtics because everybody on this roster can guard one-on-one. Slide your feet, you got help defenders in the gaps, and everybody is in tune on defense. Just continue to switch. The Mavs want to run these high screen rolls. The only time that I actually saw the Mavs have any success with the Celtics switches is actually when Jason Tatum kind of got matched up on a Luka Doncic early on in this game. But as it progressed, Jason Tatum continued to play. He progressed to play better defense on Luka Doncic throughout the game one-on-one. So if you just continue to switch, the Mavs aren't going to have many open lanes to be able to play because there's a defender right in front of them. The Celtics don't care if the Mavs are running these high screen rolls and trying to get switches because all their players can guard one-on-one.
That kind of falls into here of number 4 for the keys to victory is we're going to move to the offensive side here, just constantly moving that ball, never staying stagnant. Obviously, we've said that from day one, but I do think that they took that lead in the third quarter because they were just making the Mavericks defense chase them It was beautiful. And they had to make that defense constantly pull up a mismatch there. When you had just you had Hardy, guarding Jason Tatum, it just wasn't good for the Dallas Mavericks because they're just playing roulette with these defenders right now. And then what's even more beautiful is that when you have upwards of 8 passes around the perimeter, which I do like, and then you give it to Drew Holiday, who ends that perimeter passing, drives down low, and his court vision is so good, he can look at the rim and dish it back out to Derek White, who's wide open for 3. But because they pulled so many defenders who are just chasing at that point, you got a wide open Derek White there.
Yeah, I mean, the Mavs just don't have the ability to leave anybody on the Celtics wide open. Like I said, Brad Stevens crafted this roster to be able to shoot the basketball, and that's what the Celtics are able to do. They play a 5-out offense. You lose Kristaps Porzingis for Game 3, and then you kind of get worried, right? Like, oh, Xavier Tillman, O'Shea Brissett might get in this game, Luke Cornett might get in this game, and the Celtics might have to play a little bit of a 4-out, 1-in set that they used to run with Robert Williams back in the day. But it didn't work. Guess what? Xavier Tillman got out there and hit a triple. It was unbelievable. You can't leave anybody on this Celtics team. So just keep moving the ball around. Keep moving without the basketball, which is something that Drew Holiday does so well, cutting to the basket, running around the perimeter, and just honestly not letting this Celtics offense get stagnant, like we'll talk about in the key to victory number 5. But the Celtics offense just continue to move the ball, make this Dallas defense rotate, get them out of sorts. Hopefully the defense breaks down eventually, and then you either have a quick pump fake, drive to the rack, or get a wide open 3.
And then with number 5 there, don't settle when Dallas makes a run, because we saw this in Game 3, and this is what just kind of boils my blood here is that you had a 20-point lead, you lost it in the 4th, that's okay. Teams do that. I don't like it, but it does happen. But then the Celtics just kind of completely forget how to play Celtics basketball there. They're either just letting Jason Tatum go in ISO, which isn't horrible, but also when you have so many sharpshooters, you just spent an entire 12 minutes in the 3rd quarter constantly moving and constantly getting the entire offense involved to make that 20-point lead happen. And they just forget about that tactic altogether. You can't settle for the 3 ball to try and just freak out and get back and create your lead and make it larger. Once the Dallas Mavericks cut it to 3, cut it to 8, cut it to whatever they do, we know the Mavericks' strength is their offense. If they cut the lead, it's going to happen. But the Celtics, whether it's Joe Mazzulla calling a timeout or the Celtics taking care of it on the court without a timeout, just calm down, get back to Celtics basketball, and for the love of God, don't settle for a 3 in transition with 20 seconds left on the shot clock when you have the opportunity to calm down, move the offense, and create a good shot.
Yeah, I totally agree because you look at the Celtics' 3rd quarter, it might be the best. Like we said this. We said this in Game 1 in the 1st quarter. That could be the best quarter the Celtics play all year. I think the 3rd quarter of Game 3 was the best quarter the Celtics have played all year. It was just flawless basketball on all ends. But you get into that 4th quarter and you become a little complacent. You go up 21 points, you hit your first 2 threes of the 4th quarter, go up 21. And I'm not saying that Boston shouldn't take threes when they're up a big margin. It was just the fact that a lot of them were contested, and then you get into dribble, offense stands around, and you end up having 5 seconds on the shot clock. And the Celtics have to take either a contested 3 or, even worse, a contested long 2, which we saw there in that 4th quarter early on, which allowed Dallas to come back and make a run. The Celtics kept settling for bad to meh to just below average shot quality, and the Mavs were able to capitalize on that. You get quick misses, and you get back in transition for Dallas, and you're not able to really get in a comfortable flow of an offense. Boston needs to realize, and Joe Mazzulla probably should have called the timeout earlier on in that run rather than when they got it down to, I believe it was 11. So maybe a little bit of that is on him, but the Celtics have to just play within the flow of their offense and just not forget about what got them that big lead. Stop settling for contested shots, move the ball around. Eventually, we've seen it. We've talked about it in these keys to victory. You move the ball around, you're going to find somebody open, whether it's at the basket or beyond the arc. Stop settling, and the Celtics will be just fine.
With that being said, we will be live for Game 4 tonight, as always. Thank you guys so much. We've gained over, I want to say, 5,000 subscribers so far being in this NBA Finals. So Going ahead, hit that sub button for you if you guys haven't already. We're live for every single Celtics game this postseason. We do currently have over 35,500 subscribers. Help us get to 36,000 as well. And like I said, we'll be live tonight for Game 4. With that being said, I want to go ahead and bring up my prediction for the ball game. I'm going to give it a 10-point win. Stamp it, seal it, send it away. It's going to be Boston Celtics win the NBA Finals 109-99. The Mavericks never break that 100 mark, and they do end up being NBA champions. Same thing here for Tyler Smith. He's going to have Celtics win 112-100. He's got a 12-point win there. I got 10, but he does have the Dallas Mavericks breaking that 100 barrier just slightly.
Yeah, just slightly, and
just enough.
It's not going to matter entirely. I think if that 100 could be made on a garbage time basket, and the Celtics just. I really do think the Mavericks roll over and die. They play a game where Kyrie puts up 35. Luka has his worst game of the series, but Kyrie puts up 35, and they play a Celtics team without Kristaps Porzingis, and they couldn't get it done. I think that the Mavs are deflated.
Yeah, no, I do think so as well. But if you guys are going to be joining our live show tonight for Game 4, go ahead and like this video. Just want to get a nice little roll call here going. Hit that thumbs up button for me if you guys will be joining us tonight. Celtics Today live. Like this video. Let me know if you guys are going to be there. And as always, feel free to hit that subscribe button for me. Help us join 36,000 loyal subscribers here on Celtics Today by Chat Sports. This could be it. And you guys do not want to miss it if the Boston Celtics put this one away and win the NBA Finals.